This evening's King's Board of Education regular meeting for the month of August and our first of the new school year to order. Mr. Morrow, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Phillips,
Here.
Ms. Groff,
Here.
Ms. Cowan,
Here.
Mr. Skrull,
Here.
Mr. Belfrom.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And the first item this evening on our agenda are the reports and presentations. Mr. Sears.
Yes, President Belfrom, Board of Education, thank you for being here this evening. As our first official meeting of the,
Sorry, excuse me, Mr.
yeah, you're
Sears.
going to do the roll call
I didn't
first.
approve the agenda.
Yeah, and do the agenda. We'll do that first.
I'm just having a
I
day.
was ready to go.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. I'm gonna pitch a no-hitter one of these nights. Perfect game. Next on the consent agenda now are the reports and presentations, Mr. Sears.
Yes, thank you. Last week at our work session, we had a fairly extensive presentation and conversation around the initial site location and design concepts for the new high school, which if anyone's watching that is published. We also released some information last week through a video through me and Mrs. Gould's expertise in developing that. And also have published the www.kingsfacilities.org website on all of the latest information regarding the Columbia design as well as the high school design as well. So we will continue to update that information and keep the community up to speed with all things happening around facilities and our design and where we are with that. I would expect another extensive update at the September board meeting. Probably the regular meeting in September that we'll have our friends from SHP here giving us kind of the latest updates on where we are in that design concept and as we work through each component. But as we get started this evening and we think about the school year, we've had 4 days of school. We've had no days of all kids in the district just yet. So we have one more day that we're phasing in the second half of our kindergartners tomorrow. And then we will welcome all of our students back on Thursday for the very first time. So every student in our district will attend on Thursday, and we're really excited about that. So there's a lot happening at the beginning of the school year. And what I thought this evening, instead of a formal presentation, because we did a lot of that last week, I think it's important for our board and our community to know that the folks sitting at this table are all lead very important departments within our district and do outstanding work with that. And there's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes, a lot of things happening in order for the work to start this year and our students to arrive and be prepared for that. So what I'd like to do is to have each one of these folks that are with us this evening just give a little update on the things that are happening in their world as we start the school year, so you can get a taste on some of the things that have been happening. So I'm going to start this off with our teaching and learning department, Mrs. Martin and Mr. Freeman, and then we'll facilitate around the room. So.
Okay, I'll let Matt here in a few minutes talk specifically about teaching and learning, but I wanted to highlight some of the other departments. Special education, we have lots of things going on with students, but as a highlight with special education right now, we did 75 paraprofessionals came in for 2 full days of training. And most importantly, we did our safety care training with them that we do every school year, beginning of school year, and that will run all the rest of the school year. We also have coming up with safety care, we will do a train the trainers next training, and that'll be where we update and add new trainers for safety care. So per law, as well as what's good for behavior for students, we train gen ed teachers, ISs, and paras around safety care, as well as a few administrators. So that's been kept us busy all of August. The other thing going on, I know I've talked to you about this before, is we have started a program, Mr. Spinner and I and Lorraine worked with UC around student teachers, and we have 4 student teachers in the district right now. Half a day they are doing their student teaching, 2 at South Lebanon and 2 at Columbia. The other half of the day they're subbing for us. And that is going really great. At the semester, they will switch. They will then go to Deer Park and Warren County ESC, and we will get 4 student teachers from them. So by the end of the year, we'll have had 8 in the district. Lorraine has worked with actually UC and those school districts to create a pathways around professional development and doing something with them monthly, because we all are hoping to keep them in our districts and get a little bit ahead of what a student teacher would actually do. The nice thing for these students when they do this is they actually student teach longer because they're only doing it half a day. So they get a full year in about 4 different districts. So we're really excited. It's a great program. Super excited about that. Oh, gotta look my face thing up. Dee, jump in if I say anything wrong around technology, but right now we've put in 40 view boards this summer installed in the district. We have 1,000 new Chromebooks that we've touched, and we have 3,000 other Chromebooks that we updated this summer. So altogether 4,000 Chromebooks. And thankfully our interns that we hired through the Inter Alliance helped quite a bit. And that's a group of students I think Matt and I are even going to sit down with and talk about some focus group stuff with them around maybe a Genius Bar down the road with the students, because they really have some great ideas around it after this summer. So we're super excited about the tech stuff going on. Social emotional, Kim has a lot going on. I do want to let you know we have a new resource coordinator for the district, Lainey Whistle. She started just last Wednesday. So Kim and I have met with her a couple times. We've got her office going, and we're going to start doing some trainings with her. She helps out quite a bit around McKinney-Vento, the holidays program, and just students in need. So we've been getting her into the buildings, talking to the administrators and the counselors, and we'll make sure you know who Lainey is soon. We're excited to have her. Aaron's law update, Kim came and presented that. There is a new update, new way of presenting through the law. So Kim's working through that right now. We're going to do another parent virtual type of meeting, and also a way to come in and see that curriculum like we did last year. That seemed to go over pretty well. So we're going to just do some updates. And then our partnership with Xavier, Kim has worked this summer around the vaping interventions and the educational pathways we did around that. And we have a new partnership with Xavier. They've actually broke out their vaping for first offender, second offender, and in different areas. So they've really created a pretty extensive program with some graduate students that we're a part of for this year too. So we're pretty excited about that too. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to keep going. I'm going to pass it on to Matt and let Matt do teaching and learning.
I just have a couple things that I'll give you an update about. You know, the beginning of the school year, it's always busy with students coming in, but we hit the ground running with some assessments that happen at different grade levels. We do our benchmarking at the beginning of the school year. So in all of our K-8 buildings, we're gearing up for that. So the Chromebooks that have all been updated and passed out to our students are used for those purposes. And then we also do quite a bit of screening with new potential English learners that have enrolled in the district. So right now we have 228 students to screen. You know, over the years, we have seen an increase in the number of students that are coming to us that qualify for these services. So I can give you an update later after we get everyone screened to see where we fall.
So that's, you're saying 228 new
New.
additional
Yes, ma'am.
possible students.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So we're working on you know, on those assessments. And like I said, I can give you an update. Also gearing up with our instructional coaching team to begin our professional development work with our staff. So we have our PD days, of course, that we talk about, but we also are planning to have groups of teachers continuing to work around personalized learning. Our cohort that started last year, kind of learning all about personalized learning and what that looks like in the classroom. We'll have opportunities for them to continue, and then to be able to scale that in the classroom, have other opportunities. We'll have teachers invited to come over to work with our coaching team directly to kind of begin that process. So excited about that. We're also partnering with Jenny Jetter, who is the coordinator of our resident educator program. We have a number of new staff members, as you know. And so we're going to invite all of those folks to work directly with our instructional coaching team each quarter. And so that will help them just to have additional familiar faces to work on new strategies and just anything that's of interest to them, and kind of working on their practice in the classroom with students. And then also kind of help with the resident educator components, requirements that are required of them. So that we're going to allow everybody to get their feet wet. As Greg said, we don't have all of our students until Thursday. So we'll let them get their feet wet for a month or so, and then we'll begin working with teachers that way. So good start though, I think.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. Great segue. Thank you, Mrs. Martin, Mr. Freeman. In addition to overseeing all things human resources in our office, we also take care of central registration. And I'm excited to announce that maybe for the first time in our history, we have eclipsed the 5,000 student mark here in the Kings Local School District, K through 12. Those numbers are still settling as we continue to get more enrollments, so that number could increase, but we could get some withdrawals as well. So we're currently at 5,014. I know it's a little higher than that because we've registered new students even since Miss Andrews updated those numbers on Tuesday. Our kindergarten class currently sits at 375 students, so nice size class. Average class size throughout the district is 371. And 3 of our 5 smallest classes are, you guessed it, at the high school. So our smallest class being the senior class at 304 currently at the moment. Like that Mr. Freeman talked a little bit about our RESO program. We have 20 new faces in the district. These are not new positions, but 20 new certified teachers throughout the district, along with 2 administrators. So thrilled that all of our certified positions are filled. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we still have some classified openings, but they are few. Bus drivers, cooks, childcare, and paraprofessionals. We're always looking for interested people for those positions, and those processes have started throughout our buildings. So anybody listening out there that might be interested in an opportunity like that, please look me up on our website. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner.
Are
Go
we,
ahead.
are we ready for this? I just want to make sure everybody, okay.
Hold on, Mr. Spinner, what's the largest class that we have currently?
Largest class.
I'm gonna give you like
largest
30
class.
seconds there.
We've got 2 over 400. We have 6th grade at 413 and 3rd grade at 406.
And those numbers don't include the kids at the Warren County Career Center.
That's correct.
So in all, there's still our kids too.
Correct. Yes.
Good point.
Do we know how many are full-time at Warren
I'm
County?
not certain how many we have at the Career Center,
I will
but we may be
get
able to
that
track that down.
number
Thanks.
at the next meeting because school started and we had our regular career center meeting before all of the students arrived, and there's always some shuffling
Yeah.
and things that happens at the very beginning, but
Yeah, we have. So I mentioned our senior class as being our smallest class throughout the district at 304. Our junior class is one of our bigger classes at 372. And then I mentioned that 3 of our 4 smallest classes are at our high school, and they're both our freshmen and sophomores are in the early 350s. So we do have a large junior class that would be probably the biggest graduating class for some time until we hit some of those younger grades. And Mr. Belfram, there are a couple of classes that are knocking on the 400 door. So right behind those classes I mentioned, we have 1st and 2nd grade at 391 and 397 respectively.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the days of 304 seem to be, this seems to be it.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner.
We're gonna have to book more time at the Cintas Center is basically what. we
Yeah,
just heard.
it sounds like it.
All right, thanks, Mr. Spinner. A couple things. First, an old colleague of all of ours used to say, we're the only business that has a grand opening and a going out of business every year. We had our grand opening, and I just want to take a quick second to thank the efforts of the cleaning crews, maintenance guys, everyone in this room that chased it around. I know Mr. Sears just did, but it's a massive undertaking to think about the square footage that we take care of over the summer and the amount of work that those guys do. So I want to thank them in the ether here for doing a fantastic job. Some of the big things that we did this summer, obviously there's a lot of planning going on for the future construction, but the show is going on while we're preparing for that. So we're all doing our daily things. This summer, we've had the opportunity to finally get to the safety grant dollars that we talked about for years and years. All those things are going in. So roughly $300,000 of cameras, door badging. Mrs. Martin talked about vape programming. We've installed vape detectors in our upper grade buildings to help those students and the kids and the staff. So lots of things going on the kind of periphery that you don't really think about. You don't hear cameras and but all those things are there from a safety and security perspective. Those vape detectors have a sound sensor in them. So if there's a loud noise, fight going on, alerts go out from those devices as well. So not just for vapes. Talk about transportation for a second. Staffing, we are staffed. This is the first time that we've been fully staffed at this point in many years. They're doing a very good job. We've been on time in the big scheme of things every day. Our kindergartners start up here very shortly, and there's going to be lots of photo opportunities, and we welcome that. It's a rite of passage for these kids and these parents. But the next couple days are probably going to be the longest, call it. I was going to say the worst, but that's negative. So we love the pictures. We love the time spent there. But buses are going to roll a little bit differently for a few days until we get our youngest nights honed in on the procedure, where they get on, where they get off, how they get on, how they get off, all the details of transportation. That new management crew down there has done a fantastic job. Construction in the district. So this is always a favorite topic. Roundabouts. So Davis Road is moving along. It is the one that's creating the most fun for transportation. If you deal with it down there, it is what it is. We've routed accordingly, and we are staying on time. Once that opens up, we're going to be in fantastic shape, which should be roughly the beginning of October. So just to give everybody that heads up. The Mesa Mara Millgrove roundabout is starting and taking shape. They tell me that road will remain open during the process, but they're to expect delays from it. We recently got another road closure that on Mesa Mara Millgrove further down that won't affect us a ton. But we're getting pretty good and nimble with the road stuff. So we'll continue to plan for that.
Is there a projected end date on that?
I wish I had that. They say it should be pretty quick, the Mesa Mara Millgrove one, because it's not a permanent roundabout. It's basically they'll crane in. It's getting the road. You see some work done where they're leveling up on the other side of the guardrail. They'll level up and get the level course, and they'll just place that roundabout that'll actually be reusable for future initial projects. So it'll start as that. They'll do a study to see, how it works, just with the amount of dump truck traffic with what's going on down there. But it will be reusable. I had never heard of that in the past, but learn something new every day. There's some construction next to SLE. I don't know if anybody goes over that way and works through there. I'm sure many of you do. It is not Burger King. It's a Christian Brothers auto service facility that's going in there right next to SLE. So lots going on 48 over there with Kroger going in, and it seems like everything has just started all of a sudden over there. So that will be really great once they get the right-hand turn cool down lane right in front of the school wrapped up.
Yeah.
So we're still dealing with what we're dealing with over there until that all opens up. But once it gets going, that'll be a game changer over there. Other than that, I'll keep you posted as more stuff comes our way. Any questions on what's going on out there?
Are there any other road closures that are anticipated?
Not that they've let us know.
Okay.
Not that they've let us know. The project around the high school is drawing very close to an end. I'll feel better once it's all painted. Got still some temporary striping that they're working through at night. But it's definitely better on your suspension rolling down through past the high school. It's nice. It's turned out
Much
really nice.
better than last year.
Yes.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Morrow?
So much like Mr. Lucky in his world, our world also gets more busy in the treasurer's office in the summer. While most of our staff get to take a little break to recharge. So in addition to our normal day-to-day payroll, bills, purchasing, we also do end of year reporting, grants, budgets, and that's all while getting everybody's pay ready for next year, which is really the biggest thing. So 625 staff members that we're confirming pay rates, updating pay rates. You can see on the agenda, pulling resignations, adding new hires. So it's a pretty big task for the ladies in my office, and then with my review to get all those updated. And we phase in new payrolls from 7/15 until 9/1. So you're talking about 2 months essentially of getting everybody updated. So it's a pretty big feat every summer to get that done and get it done as accurately as possible. So kudos to my staff who've had a very busy summer. And they look forward to like an October time frame where maybe it slows down just a little bit. Yep, kudos to them, and it's been a great summer, and we're glad to have everybody back and hopefully paid correctly.
Hopefully.
That's the goal.
Mr. Freeman, you had an update based on your question.
So based on the high school document updated on August 16th with scheduling Warren County Career Center, it's like we have 111 juniors and seniors. So that's a mix of both part-time and full-time students. So we do have a number of students that do their academics at the high school and then do labs only. So that's with both of those numbers combined. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for allowing us the opportunity just to share a little bit about things behind the scenes that are going on. I just want to take a second to commend this team for their leadership and work in each one of their departments to ensure that we're off to a good start. And I think as a board, you recognize and have seen some of the work that's been done, especially around the transportation efficiencies that have happened this summer. And I'll piggyback on what Mr. Lucky said, that, being on time on day 1-ish, but definitely day 2, day 3, even today, we're much improved than what it's been in the past. And so as we've moved to a 3-tier system, I think the routing decisions that have been made and the leadership in that department has really helped out to do some things different. So we're all benefiting from that because I think we're able to deliver a service to our families to get their kids home on time. And so that's really helpful for all of us as we get started. But I just want to thank these folks. We've started as an admin team. We did a little bit of this work today, working through Patrick Lencioni's work around the 6 types of working genius. If you've not read that, it is an excellent read. It's very quick, but Patrick Lencioni has done a lot of work around teaming, and basically preferred work styles. So what brings folks the greatest joy or happiness within work that you're doing? And so there's 6 types of genius: a genius of wonder, invention, enablement, galvanizing, discernment, and tenacity. And so we as a team took an assessment and have analyzed our strengths and weaknesses as a team, which one of those are our geniuses and which one of those are our frustrations. That it doesn't mean it's a weakness, but if we were working in that environment and only doing things that were in our frustration, it would make the work environment tough for us. So it's an interesting read. I would encourage the board to, you're looking for some growth opportunity, we're going to do that, probably expand this to our admin team as well. But we had some initial discussions around where we land on this. We plotted everyone out around our working geniuses and our frustrations. So as we expect a lot of our staff, expect a lot of our teachers, we expect a lot of our kids. We're working on our own growth as well. And, you know, we've all been together for almost 4 years now, and we're continuing to refine how we operate and in continuing to improve. So exciting work, and we're going to continue that on our end. But we're off to a good start. So any questions, comments, thoughts on anything that you heard?
Yeah.
Mhm.
To all of you.
Yes. Thank you to all of you. It's a lot. It's not a traditional, if you will, work day for any of you. It's a lot of, well, it never is, but I know, yes, our former colleague, as Mr. Lucky pointed out, it really is a grand closing. Everything must go. Grand opening just a few short months later. So we really appreciate all of the hard work and everything that you all do. So I second Mrs. Groff's applause. And with that, next on the consent agenda is public participation. However, I see we don't have anyone signed up this evening, so we will move forward. Next on the consent agenda are the approval items for the treasurer. Looks like there are 10 items in total. Mr. Morrow, was there anything to add? Update from last week?
Nothing to add, nothing new and no update, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions if there are any.
There any questions for Mr. Morrow? All right. With that, may I have a motion to approve the agenda items for the treasurer this evening?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion. Mr. Morrow?
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda are approval items for the superintendent. I don't see any items. I just see a roll call. Is there?
No items. No.
Oh, okay. That must have an old version. It has a roll call on there.
Get rid of that.
So we will pass that. Thank you, Mr. Sears. Next on the agenda are the approval items for the assistant superintendent regarding HR and business. I think we discussed the personnel items in the school calendar for next year. Mr. Spinner, did you have anything to add?
No, nothing to add, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
I did get some feedback on next year's calendar. People seem to be happy about it.
I've heard the same.
Mhm. That, may I have a motion to approve the items for the assistant superintendent regarding HR and business, please?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. Next on the consent agenda are the approval items for the assistant superintendent regarding the educational programs. Mrs. Martin, Mr. Freeman, do you have anything to add? All right. Have any questions for Mrs. Martin and Mr. Freeman? All right, well then may I have a motion to approve the assistant superintendent items regarding the educational programs?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom.
Yes. Next on the agenda, the items presented by the board. And as always, annually, we need a delegate and alternate appointment for the annual business meeting. So I will turn it over to my colleagues, all of us, to determine who those persons will be this year.
I feel like we just did this not that long
No.
ago.
And I feel like every year, Mrs. Cowan, you do such a tremendous job that I just,
Mr. Skrull did enjoy his turn though.
So I
And
do,
Mr.
you
Skrull
you
as
did it
well.
for me last year because I wasn't able to make it and they had changed the process up. Do you feel, did it go smoother last year than it had?
It was a bit lengthy, but I did feel like it was smoother. Yeah.
Because when I was there 2 years ago, it went for 4 hours.
It
I
wasn't
remember-
quite that long,
Okay.
but it still, I felt like it did go smoother. Yes.
Okay. Feel a lot of eyes on me.
So I'm hearing that we have a delegate and an appointed backup, or is
I was gonna
alternate?
say I'm fine either role.
Yeah.
If Mr. Squirrel wanted one role or the other, I will take the
Uh,
opposite.
I'll be the delegate if you want to be the alternate.
I can handle it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you both very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And you need a roll, Mr. Morrow. Yes. And with that, may I have a motion to approve our delegate and our alternate for the OSBA annual business meeting?
I will make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Mr. Belfron.
Yes. Next on our agenda is the legislative update. Mr. Skrull?
Not a whole lot to present today. Legislation's on recess right now, so I do just have a few items that are on here that Governor DeWine signed into law. I do want to speak to House Bill 2, 4.2 billion capital appropriations bills, which contain 600 million in OFCC funding. Hopefully, we can get a portion of that.
Yes.
That would definitely help with the construction we've got starting. So read through those. There's about 10 items on there that have been put into law. If you have questions, feel free to reach out.
Any questions for Mr. Skrull? All right. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Next on the agenda is the Student Achievement Liaison update. Mrs. Phillips?
Yes, I always think at the beginning of the school year, it's so exciting and easy to do this. Examples of Power 5 skills and action. Mr. Sears had an Twitter post where he talked about the initial design things that were released and that we got to see at our last board meeting. And I also put the web address up so people could see that if they've not and they're listening to this board meeting, they'd be able to see and go on to the kingsfacilities.org. Peterman Bus for both Kings and Mason, they always do a fill the bus at the beginning of the school year, and some fun activities for the students with face painting and haircuts and braiding hair. And they said it was a huge success again this year. So just some pictures from in and around on the first day, a teacher from Columbia who said, hey, let's get the 24-25 school year started. He was ready and waiting for students. And then just a lot of different posts showing different staff members getting ready, students getting off the bus for the very first time at the high school. And then our King's Night welcoming everyone back. So woohoo! And I thought this was a cute post because what would a first week of school be without rain? And so at Columbia, or at JF Burns, I'm sorry, they said, this is how we do rain. Just add the umbrella or the other rain gear and off you go. And building relationships. I think all of our teachers and staff members go above and beyond at the beginning of the school year. For the new teacher day, I heard Mr. Sears telling them before I stepped out of the room that it's okay not to do academics the first day. You have to build the relationships so the academics come easier for the students once they know you as a teacher. And you could see that in action where people and parents were greeting the students as they were coming in off of the buses, parents and teachers in the hallways helping students get lockers opened or unlocked. Teachers having pictures of students either right inside the classroom door or out in the hallway so they could feel like, yes, this school is my school. And of course, at the high school, what would the opening be at the high school without the administrators up on the roof, so to speak, welcoming all of the seniors and students on that first day. And then some other little first day jitters. Everyone, even teachers, can say that, oh, my stomach has butterflies, and it's such an exciting time and feeling, and giving students time to interact together, either when they're reading books, they can talk about them, or when they're doing a little activity on the floor with little things, toys, so to speak, that help with all of the learning that will be taking place soon. And Project Lead the Way, every student, even the 7th graders, enjoy having a book read to them. So they read Bubblegum Brain, and then they talked about, excuse me, what their hopes and dreams were for the class. What goals did they have with being in a Project Lead the Way classroom? And that's the last one, isn't it? And so that's just a little thumbnail. There were so many others, but I always try and make it brief. So, and then also thank you to Mrs. Gold. I took some of the pictures from her night news that she sends out. So that helped a lot too. Thank you very much.
You. And with that, I just wanted to say one thing, because we are starting a new school year, and at our opening day, Mr. Sears so eloquently mentioned this too, but we do our grand closing, we do our grand opening, and unfortunately this summer we did lose some family along the way, and I don't think that we've addressed this in the meeting, so we just wanted to remember Mrs. Von Allman and Mr. Kleiss, their service here, what they mean to this community and will always mean to this community. And yeah, it won't be the same without them this year. But judging by that opening day, judging by this community, the love and the warmth it has for their families, they won't soon be forgotten around here from the rest of us. So yeah, looking forward to a great school year. Again, thank you for all your help. Thank you to my colleagues here on the board who work so hard, and it's going to be a great year. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
I will make that motion.
I will second the motion. Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Everyone have a great evening.